Hi, boys and girls. I'm sure many of you have been hoping to hear something cogent about the nature of philosophy and the role of philosophy in the crisis or crises that we're in now and that are coming. And if that's you, it could be that you found this talk not by mere coincidence. I'm Ajorn Spiker. I want to give a few talks about the human family on the edge of the cliff. And this first one is going to be about philosophy. I want to begin though with a story by Stephen Vincent Benét, the Mountain Whippoorwill. Up in the mountains, it's lonesome all the time. Soft wind slewing through the sweet potato vine. Up in the mountains, it's lonesome for a child. Whippoorwills are calling when the sap runs wild. Up in the mountains in the fog, everything's as lazy as an old hound dog. Born in the mountains, lonesome born, raised running ragged through the cockleburs and corn. Born in the mountains, never raised a pet, don't want nothing and never got it yet. Never knew my pappy, maybe never should. Think he was a fiddle made of mountain laurel wood. Never had a mammy to teach me pretty please. Think she was a whippoorwill, a skitting through the trees. Never had a brother, ne'er a whole pair of pants. But when I start to fiddle, why, you got to start to dance. Listen to my fiddle, kingdom come, hear the frogs a-chunkin', jug-a-rum, jug-a-rum. Hear that mountain whippoorwill be lonesome in the air. And I'll tell you how I traveled to the Essex County Fair. Essex County has a mighty pretty fair. All the smarty fiddlers from the south come there. Elbows flying as they rosin up the bow for the first prize contest in the Georgia Fiddlers Show. Old Dan Wheeling with his whiskers in his ears, kingpin fiddler for nearly 20 years. Big Tom Sargent with his blue wall eye, and little Jimmy Weezer that can make a fiddle cry. All sitting round, spitting high and strutting proud. Listen, little whippoorwill, you better bug your eyes. Tunin' while the judges told the crowd, them that gets the mostest claps would win the bestest prize. Everybody waiting for the first Tweedledee when in comes a stumbling hillbilly me. Bowed right pretty to the judges and the rest. Took a silver dollar from a hole inside my vest. Plunked it on the table. Said, there's my calling card. And anyone that licks me, well, he's got to fiddle hard. Old Dan Wheeling, he was laughing fit to holler. Little Jimmy Weezer said, there's one dead dollar. Big Tom Sargent had a yaller toothy grin, but I tucked my little whippoorwill spang underneath my chin and petted it and tuned it till the judges said, begin. Big Tom Sargent was the first in line. He could fiddle all the bugs off a sweet potato vine. He could fiddle down a possum from a mile-high tree. He could fiddle up a whale from the bottom of the sea. You could hear hands spank until they spanked each other raw when he finished variations on Turkey in the Straw. Little Jimmy Weezer was the next to play. He could fiddle all night, he could fiddle all day. He could fiddle chills, he could fiddle fever. He could make a fiddle rustle like a lowland river. He could make a fiddle croon like a loving woman. And they clapped like thunder when he finished strumming. Then came the rock of the bob-tailed fiddlers, the Let's Go Easies, the Fair to Middlers. They got their claps and they lost their bicker and settled back for some more corn liquor. And the crowd was tired of their no-count squealing. When out in the center steps old Dan Wheeling. He fiddled high and he fiddled low. Listen, little whippoorwill, you got to spread your wings. He fiddled with a cherry wood bow. Old Dan Wheeling's got bee honey in his strings. He fiddled the wind by the lonesome moon. He fiddled the most almighty tune. He started fiddling like a ghost. He ended fiddling like a host. He fiddled north and he fiddled south. He fiddled the heart right out of your mouth. He fiddled here and he fiddled there. He fiddled salvation everywhere. When he was finished, the crowd cut loose. Whippoorwill, there's rain on your breast. And I sat there wondering, what's the use? Whippoorwill, fly home to your nest. But I stood up pert and I took my bow and my fiddle went to my shoulder so, and they wasn't no crowd to get me phased. But I was alone where I was raised. Up in the mountains, so still it makes you scared, where God lies sleeping in his big white beard. And I heard the sound of the squirrel in the pine, and I heard the earth a-breathing through the long night time. They fiddled the rose and they fiddled the thorn, but they haven't fiddled the mountain corn. They fiddled sinful and they fiddled moral, but they haven't fiddled the brushwood laurel. They fiddled loud and they fiddled still, but they haven't fiddled the whippoorwill. I started off with a dump diddle dump. Oh, hell's broke loose in Georgia. Skunk cabbage growing by the pecan stump. Whippoorwill, you're singing now. Oh, Georgia booze is mighty fine booze, the best you ever poured you, but it eats the soles right off in your shoes, for hell's broke loose in Georgia. My mother was a whippoorwill pert, my father he was lazy, and I'm hell broke loose in a new store shirt to fiddle all Georgia crazy. Swing your partner up and down the middle, sashay now, oh listen to that fiddle. Flapjacks flipping on a red-hot griddle, and hell's broke loose, hell's broke loose. Fire on the mountain, snakes in the grass, Satan's here a-bilin', oh lordy, let him pass. Go down, Moses, set my people free. Pop goes the weasel through the old Red Sea. Jonah's sitting on a hickory bough, up jumps a whale, and where's your prophet now? Rabbit in the pea patch, possum in the pot. Try and stop my fiddle, now my fiddle's getting hot. Whippoorwill singing through the mountain hush. Whippoorwill shouting from the burning bush. Whippoorwill crying from the stable door. Sing tonight as you never sang before. Hell's broke loose like a stomping mountain shoat. Sing till you bust the gold in your throat. Hell's broke loose for 40 miles around. Bound to stop your music if you don't sing it down. Sing on the mountains, little whippoorwill. Sing to the valleys and slap 'em with a hill. For I'm strutting high as an eagle's quill. And hell's broke loose, hell's broke loose, hell's broke loose in Georgia. There wasn't a sound when I stopped bowing. Whippoorwill, you can sing no more. But somewhere or other, the dawn was growing. Oh, Mountain Whippoorwill. And I thought, I fiddled all night and lost. You're a good hillbilly, but you've been bossed. So I went to congratulate old man Dan. But he put his fiddle into my hand. And then the noise of the crowd began.